Okay, third try to and get my answers video under 10 minutes. Let's see, Curtis House 31 asked me, how shocked will you be once you hit the 1,000 mark? I was pretty much saying the Princess Bride inconceivable at 100, so 1,000 seems inconceivably inconceivable, I should say. I guess I'll probably have about a half decade before I reach 1,000 mark at this rate, so I'll have plenty of time to mentally brace myself, I reckon. Squitma asked, what is the biggest blessing life has given you? Blessing's kind of a loaded term, but I'll go with it. I'd have to say my family. I grew up with a very happy family. I could have done without the religious nonsense they filled my head with, but beyond that, I had parents that I knew loved each other. I knew they loved me and my sister. We were very close, and it was very good for a good long time. Sadly, it made the inevitable, or not inevitable, but made the eventual destruction of that family as a unit, as a group, all that much harder on me. That's a story for another time, though, I reckon. But growing up, I knew lots of people that had less than stellar families, dysfunctional homes, and that kind of always highlighted for me how lucky I was to not have that. So I'd say beyond my family, and of course my friends, if I was going to go for a number two, I like the line of work I fill, and I like helping the elderly for a living, managing to get by on it. It's very satisfying work. So there you go. Moving on. McGog 57, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, asked me, I was a believer all my life and just stopped for a personal reason. Why do you think believers just stop? And that's kind of hard for me to answer because I didn't just stop. It was kind of a slow, gradual process with me. I think oftentimes it's kind of a slow, gradual process, but we don't always realize that's going on. It's like it's getting hollowed out from the inside, and one day it just collapses inwards. Or sometimes it's like a game of Jenga where you remove a piece at a time, thinking, okay, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, but eventually it all suddenly collapses, and you think, oh, it just suddenly collapsed, but actually the process has been going on for a long time that kind of made it unstable. So, but I think it is possible for a person to just suddenly be confronted by something that puts all their beliefs under the microscope in a way they've never been before. And that things you took on faith, one day you have to actually look at, and you see they just don't hold up. So, I mean, without knowing more about you, I can't say what it was in your case, and in fact, if I did know more about you, I probably still couldn't say what it was in your case. I'd just be giving a highly unprofessional opinion. So, but, I mean, if you have any more questions, be happy to talk about it with you. But I don't really have much to go on there, and it's, I couldn't, really say. Wasn't really my experience, so I just don't know. Moving on, Astrophysics. What topics do you see yourself covering in the future? Mainly religion and atheism still, and all shades in between. And to some extent politics, to some extent science from a layman's perspective, of course. I don't really know a whole lot of science, but I'm fascinated by it, fascinated by the parts of it I kind of missed growing up in a fundamentalist household. So, I mean, I'll talk, a bit about evolution and such, although my comments might be cringeworthy as I'm still learning about it. But beyond that, geek interest, comic books, sci-fi movies, horror movies, things like that, books I enjoy, that sort of thing. So that's about it. Politics, and I want to do some stuff on work. Pretty much, I work with the elderly worked in a nursing home, worked with in assisted living now, so talk about working with the elderly, working with the dying, working with the dead briefly. So that sort of thing. So eventually I'll get to that. I haven't really talked much about my personal religious experiences that I kind of want to talk about more. So moving on. Quayla Soup asked me about The Day the Earth Stood Still. They're making a remake, and Keanu Reeves is starring in it. Thoughts? I just watched it recently, actually. Borrowed it from my mom. Really liked it. I generally think Hollywood, for the most part, makes bad movies, so the idea of remaking a good movie, the odds are it's going to be bad, but I don't really mind the idea of it being remade innately. I'd like to see them do right by it. I'm really not sure about Keanu Reeves, so I guess we'll see how it turns out. I think Keanu Reeves kind of spacey enough to play the part. I don't know if he kind of has that intrinsic radiating decency kind of feel that the other guy did. The other guy just seemed like he was innately good person, and Keanu Reeves just always seems innately spacey to me, which is half of the equation. So we'll see. On a related note, they are making a remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. So, or not The Day the Earth Stood Still. Spacey mind wandering. They are making a remake of Forbidden Planet, supposedly, which would worry me because that's a movie I really like. But I hear J. Michael Straczynski is going to be writing the screenplay, and I really love his comic books, and I, of course, like Babylon 5, and I really enjoyed Changeling, which he wrote the screenplay for. So I'm eager to see how that turns out. Let's see. Autumn Ride 86 asked me, who's your favorite composer, what is your favorite piece of music, and why to both? I don't really listen to a lot of classical music. I like classical music, but I tend to listen to more metal and such. But I generally like the loud classical pieces. I like Wagner, and I like a lot of Mozart and Beethoven stuff, although they could do very soft pieces also. I have to say that my favorite piece, I mean, I just can't pick a favorite. I'm not well-versed enough in it, for one thing, and I don't generally pick favorites. Well, I kind of like a variety of things. I mean, I have very specific tastes on music, but I can't ever pick just one thing that I like above all others. So I'd have to say my favorite piece of music, if I had just one, would probably be Toccata and Fugue in D minor by Bach. I really like that. Very busy, very textured, very intricate, and it satisfies my mind. It's just a very interesting thing to listen to. Always leaves me feeling satisfied. So I'm going to stop the video here because I keep on running over time, and I'll get back to more of the questions in the next video. So see you all in the next video.